Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. It is the Arizona Cardinals centric specific show where, of course, we talk about the Arizona Cardinals here in the Phoenix metropolitan area. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Javon Adams, and with me, as always, is a man who not only played professional baseball, but he also played in the National Football League in that first Super Bowl bound team for the Atlanta Falcons, the one and only Ed Easy Smith. What is good, my brother?
Good, man. Good. Let's get into this Bleav.
Indeed. And joining us, who is he's a friend of the program. He's a brother of the program, is what we like to say. The one and only Casual Earl Burnett of KSRN. That's Casual Sportz, KSRNAZ.com. There we go.
All right.
Casual. Because I sometimes we get the you get the call letters and all that good stuff. But so what is good, my brother?
Hey, same old. I appreciate you guys having me come in. It's pretty cool. It's been a minute.
It has been. We getting back up on the getting in the swing of things, so getting in that rhythm. But so
getting ready to have an attitude all season, right?
And that's what we're gonna get into for sure. We got a few things we want to talk about. One, the preseason game number 1 is in the rearview mirror, so any takeaways from that. Also, kind of look at the box score, anything that jumps out at us. The next game is coming up tomorrow, so Friday, for against the Chiefs. So, and then something, whether I want to get your thoughts on whether it's a big deal or no deal when it comes to coaches with their player fines. But let's get into the first one. I was at game number 1 against the Denver Broncos, and the Cardinals ended up pulling out a win, but wins or losses, whatever the case may be. Any takeaways? Were there any big takeaways? For the most part, the Cardinals came away unscathed on the injury side of things. Clayton Tune ended up playing a whole lot. Any big takeaways? I'll start with you first, Ed. Any takeaways from game number 1?
Not really. I mean, these are preseason games. Starters, not playing a whole lot. We're in a unique situation because of our quarterback injury. One, new regime taking over. Not a lot, and I'm just being honest, not a whole lot of talent on this team. So it's almost like not a lot to protect, if you ask me. Okay. You look at other teams and, they're taking like with their quarterbacks, it's like taking a piece of fine china out of the box for the first time with the gloves on. You don't want to chip anything, that type of stuff. I mean, we could drop the box, splatter, porcelain all over the floor. And for the most part, it's not going to be that big a deal, if you ask me, because of the expectations of the season. Our biggest thing is for Gannon and Ford as well. Their jobs are to get as much out of this, I guess, first, iteration of whatever it's going to be. Not a lot of talent. And then for Ford, just scrubbing other teams' rosters to see what is out there as far as, when cuts are made and stuff like that. We know what this season is going to look like. This first game, I had people texting me about, oh my God, did you see the game? How exciting. And I'm like, wow, really? You're getting that excited about this one? Wait till they really start to count. This is, like I said, we got the dub. You can put this one on the list, chalk it off. I didn't take a whole lot from this one, though.
What about you, Casual?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to take anything from a preseason game, but us as Cardinal fans and analysts, we have been in this story before. Having to start a new regime and see how things going to look. Mm-hmm. And the thing that stands out to me is, okay, it's a preseason game. It's pretty basic vanilla stuff, but the thing that stands out to me is watching what type of scheme we're going to be running.
Okay.
And at least you get an opportunity to see what we're going to, or what we could potentially look like. Mm-hmm. And last time we've been here before, we saw a bunch of gimmicks and a bunch of stuff that we're like, okay, what are we doing? What is the offense? I love the scheme. The scheme is showing a little bit more of a power scheme, a little bit more of that counters and things of that nature, more of a Philadelphia type of offense,
okay.
Philadelphia style offense.
Okay.
I like that. I haven't met JG yet, and I haven't, really studied up on it, but I love his attitude and what he's trying to instill in this team. His philosophy of effort and hitting, his philosophy of we're going to be a hard-nosed, tough-nosed type. And you saw that in the game. Now, it's a preseason game, and their culture stood out a little bit, and the culture is fly around, hit anything moving that's near the ball, and I like that. And with this team, we haven't seen that. Of course, y'all know that we haven't seen that. But the first thing that stood out to me, like I said, is I didn't see a gimmick. I saw we looked like a NFL team. We look like an NFL team. At least we know that we have an opportunity to be in games. The next thing that stood out to me was the depth chart and how Isaiah Simmons is playing on the second team.
Yeah.
And that kind of stood out. But then when you look at it, is where they're playing him at safety is why he's on the second team. And to me, again, here we go again, that stood out because I think they're still playing him out of position. And we'll get into that if you want to get into that. But I think they're still playing him out of position. But other than that, that's what stood out to me. That was the only thing I was watching was, let me see what type of scheme we're going to be running. And from the get-go, I'm a little jacked up. Just not saying they're going to do anything because we already know what this season might potentially look like. But
right,
if you could come out there and you can hit somebody in the mouth, you got an opportunity to at least be in some games.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, though. So you mentioned, and we talked about him last week in terms of one of the articles that came out about him, that he felt that he was finally being put in a position to flourish as opposed to just doing what was right for the team last season. And now they're continuing to move him around, but expand upon that a little bit. You're saying that you still think that he's not in the right position. Well,
perhaps the Cardinals see him as a safety, but when you already have two potential, where you have you have an all-star safety and you have another guy that's pretty much not getting off. You're not going to get that guy off the field. How are you going to get him on the field in that position, other than in a backup role?
Yeah,
when you could be using that talent, I think he should be rushing the quarterback. His size, his speed fits the offensive line up in the box somewhere. You're talking about putting them on slot corners and trying to cover. The speed in today's NFL is ridiculous. And I know he's a good athlete. He's an athletic type of guy, but he's still a tall, lanky type of dude, and a speedster guy will get around him no matter how fast he is. I don't. In my opinion, it's one man's opinion.
Yeah.
I just think that they should go ahead and put the guy in a position to make plays consistently.
So you would think that Zavin would be him doing what they have Zavin about to try to do. Zavin Collins. So you think that Simmons is more better suited for something
better fitted
like
coming off the edge. Look at it kind of reminds me a little bit of Parsons from the Cowboys. Just his body, how he looks.
Yeah.
Put him out there, let him be disruptive. Put him on the edge. Let him start to rush the quarterback.
Right.
You know what it sounds like to me though, Earl, is that he has not impressed them enough for them to want to do that with him. Sometime when, if because I think you're spot on as far as the position and what they should be doing with them. In my opinion, if they're not doing it, he's not showing them something that they are looking for. There's probably a reason why they have Collins there, because maybe Collins is showing them he's a little bit of a dog, and hey, this dude's going to get after it. How many times over the last few years have we been like Simmons is out there just like a rabid dog, just ready? He doesn't strike me as that dude, and I agree with you. They should be utilizing him. Anytime you got a guy like him, and he's on running second team in year 4 or 5. What was this? 4 or 5?
That's my point. Yeah,
that's a red flag.
Red flag.
Going down the wrong way on a highway. So for me, that's something to be said, that that he's not number one on the chart at some position. So
Interesting. All right, so Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. As we get into, I want to ask this. One of the things that I noticed, there's still a lot of, and this is probably more of today's NFL, but there was still a lot of shotgun. Is that something? And maybe I'm scarred. I'm scarred forever because that's all we saw was shotgun. And so anytime I see shotgun, it just has me having flashbacks. Is that something to be concerned about, Earl, when you saw that, or is it that's just today's NFL, and if you mix it up enough, you should be fine?
Yeah, I watched the tape twice, unfortunately, but yes, I do think that I do think that it was a good percentage of under the center as opposed
Okay.
to shotgun. And I think when you're in the preseason, you're working on things. I mean, shotgun's going to be, you don't want to show too much. So, but I do like the percentages where I know for sure this team will get under center. I like the fact that they're running the football from under center and not just that RPO thing. They're
Right.
running the football in a power scheme under center. Now, my question, of course, is going to be, was that game plan just because of who you had as quarterback, as opposed to will you run that same scheme with the number one guy? And in my point, from what I'm looking at, that's the key, because when you think about one play in that game that made me go, oh, wait a minute, they just doing this because they have this quarterback, was the 4th and 1 play. What play was the 4th and 1 play? Quarterback sneak. It was the Philadelphia Eagles West. Quarterback sneak. Let's push this ball, get our big dude, and then the winning play was give it to the running back, let him push the. Can you imagine Kyler Murray on a 4th and 1 doing a quarterback sneak? I can't see that. So I'm wondering, was it just like, oh, we got this kid out here, let's just use it because we have him. When you get your main guy there, that's going to be the tell of all things of what this scheme is going to be like, because I'm hoping they're not going to cater to what they think is Kyler's strength, and then make him play in whatever system they're putting him in, because he needs to learn how to play under center. So I want to see if that's the case.
You want to add anything to that, Ed?
No, I mean, Earl hit it all right there. You saw me, I'm shaking my head while he's saying that, because it's all about, this one is preseason. You're not really scheming too much, and it is working on different things. The other thing was your personnel. And for one, I would even throw another caveat in there. Whatever we are, when the time comes for the reports to come out that Kyler is getting close and he's healthy, that's going to dictate whether he even comes back this year, depending on what the record is. But then also, once you get him in there, you got to remember he's going to be coming off a knee that's not fully healed.
Exactly.
This is for Kyler. This is going to be a year of trying to get over that hump mentally, even more than physically. And that play right there, you're talking about the quarterback sneak, that should be in every quarterback's book, and then their tool bag. That's a like 101. Everybody has their technique. They like how they like to do it. Some quarterbacks like to take the drop step and go. Others like to push from behind. Others like to pick a crease. We've never even seen Kyler even do one. So, and as far as getting under center and stuff like that, this is all going to be new to him. And I mark my words. Remember what I've been talking about the last few years. There's a reason why he doesn't like to be under center. It's not because it's uncomfortable for him necessarily taking the ball. It's what it entails being under center. When you're under center, there's a lot of play action, right?
Yeah.
But what do you have to do when you're doing play action? You have to turn your back
to
the formation. And when you're
hope and pray after that.
When you're a little bitty quarterback, what do you then have to do? You have to turn and then refocus and get the picture again. When you imagine you're driving down the road 60 miles an hour, right? We're not stupid enough to do this. Try closing your eyes for 3 seconds on the 101, and then open in rush hour traffic, right? You would be scared to death. Well, what happened when you open your eyes? It's like it's a shock to your system. And that's exactly what playing quarterback under center, faking, turn around and looking, and then having to rediscover that coverage and everything, and pick up where blitzes and everything are coming from. That's something he doesn't like to do. And that's something, and here's my question: can they teach him that this late in his career? And I say late because he's a 20-some-odd-year-old young man making 230 yards. This isn't, this is 101. Most quarterbacks have been doing this, even though we don't see a lot in today's game. Most quarterbacks have still done it from high school on. He's never been under center. So that's something they're either going to have to teach him or get him comfortable with. And I don't know if it's too late to make that a part of his arsenal.
Yeah, I like your analogy about about being exactly about putting on the blind. Just real quick, I have been there before. Driving down the freeway, and you forget to latch your hood of the car, the trunk, the hood of the car.
Ooh.
That sucker flies up, and you are blinded from like 3. He's like,
oh yeah,
man, out of control. You don't
Yes,
know
sir.
what to think until you finally get relaxed and you finally figure out what to do. But yeah, man, that's a good analogy. It's real.
There we go. Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. So let's take it down the home stretch. We got the game against the Chiefs. Again, the Chiefs are coming here to Arizona. What do you want to see? What any expectations? What'll help you to be able to maybe become a little bit more comfortable or confident, I guess is the better word, as we inch closer to the start of the season? I'll start with you first, Kazual E.
Well, one of the other things that I didn't mention earlier about what stood out a little bit was a little bit of pressure that we were getting on the quarterbacks. We were getting two or three guys were all flying trying to get to the. That's
true. But Gardeck, I think, got in there.
Yeah, Gardeck got a sack, and Cam Thomas got in there and got some hits. And I'm thinking, okay, now is this a product of we're playing the Denver Broncos, who's pretty much the same level as we are, and it's preseason. I want to see if we can get that same pressure in the first team on our Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
In the first couple of series. I want to see if we can get that same pressure on the quarterback, that same relentless running around trying to get to the quarterback, at least being in his face. You might not get to him and sack him, but at least make it uncomfortable for him. At the same time, I want to see if our corners can cover those receivers. We've seen that's going to be one of the weak spots of the team is we don't have Byron Murphy anymore. So now, okay, here we go. We got to figure out who's going to cover receivers and who's going to, be that guy that kind of, can cover in the secondary. And I'm looking at Hamilton had a pretty good showing last week against third stringers and all those things. I get it. And then you got who's the other guy, Marco Wilson. So we don't know. I mean, this is it. We got to go with what we have. But I just want to see if we can hang from a schematic standpoint the things that and Reed's not going to break out the whole arsenal. We know that. But just can you if you can handle their basic packages and get a little bit of pressure on the quarterback. I want to just see them make Patrick move a little bit and see if we can get him uncomfortable. I'm not looking for score in this game. I'm not looking for a win in this game because we already know this is not anything to be. You want to continue to go in and work on the things and keep that culture going. Because I like the culture of relentless. I mean, JG's his philosophy. I love it. Effort and hitting. Well, let's go see if we can do some effort and hitting in this game and put some stuff on tape to make us go, well, 2-15 may not be happening this year. It might be at least about 5 or 6 or something. Who knows?
Okay, I like that. Easy.
I'm confused because I don't know where we are in the preseason right now. No, I'm serious. Think about this. Normally, up until just a few years ago, a couple years ago, it was 4 games. The second to the last preseason game will be your dress rehearsal. Right. That would be the one where everybody's coming out. You got your starters playing at least like up until the first half. True. So we can come out of locker room for the first time to get, accustomed to real time, football, right?
Yeah.
This is game 2. We don't know who's starting. We don't even know who our starters are for the most part. Our quarterback's injured. Is this the game where we, play everybody, get, if you're asking what I'm looking for, Jay, I have no idea. Because I don't know how they're handling this. Yeah. Ideally what I'd want to see is, okay, we're going to go at this one like we would week 1 for real, so we're going to real play calling, a little bit of schematics, let's play up to the first half so we can come out, get, what it really feels like we're going to be, because you got to remember, we talked about this last week too, Jay, this is not just preseason for our players, this is preseason for a lot of our coaching staff too.
Right.
So how are they going to handle certain things? Going in, doing everything at the half, making the adjustments, man, I have no idea. So I guess along the lines of what Brother Earl just said, let's keep it as crisp and clean and let's get guys flying around. Don't care what the score necessarily is. This is going to be a tough ask if Andy plays Mahomes and them. Those dudes are so efficient and so quick with what they're doing, it's going to be hard to get at Mahomes. Because one, they're not going to allow you to get to him. Even though they have him out there, it's going to be a lot of quick stuff. They might throw a wrinkle or two out there at you, but this is about as close as you're going to get in my opinion, as far as the Chiefs, to a team that they take this stuff seriously, but they also, like I said, they know how to do it. Yeah. They're out there almost playing with the teams, just because they've done this. They might even, they were going to work on a couple things, and they'll use us as a guinea pig, just so they can put something on tape, so they can have that and put it in their back pocket for week 10 of this season or something like that. So you have no idea. But at the same time, I don't know what this Cardinals team, what can they do to show me that they're ready? I don't know. I really don't know.
So it's interesting. Yeah. This should have been the game. Well, I guess it couldn't because I'm going to be around that area for that other event. But this should have been the game for that my wife should have got us tickets for, because just because it's more sentimental because of my dad, having been a Kansas City Chiefs fan. But this would have been a better game. But anyway, that's how it goes. So
well, actually, the better one was the one you won. I guess this one might look a little different.
But right. What's interesting though, it's not. I think this is what I saw last week. Being there in the game, being there in person, is something that we're going to see even more of this season. And what I mean by that is there were a lot of Bronco representation in the building. So we've started to see that over the last 3 or 4 years anyway, that protect the nest type of thing is started to go away. Where we would see a lot of the opposing team's jersey in the stadium. And I think we're going to see a lot of that this season, because I think a lot of the fans are going to take that wait and see approach, especially because you got to come out as one dude that I listen to says hip pocket national to be able to buy those tickets and be able to cast your vote for the team in that way. So it's going to be a lot of teams that'll be able to invade the State Farm Stadium.
Real quick, Jay, I was a member of those 97 Falcons before the 98 version. Yeah. And I remember coming out of our own locker room in the dome, the old dome over there, Georgia Dome, and thinking I was on the road. I remember and it was your team, it was the Raiders, came in, and I was like, damn. I was like, are we in Oakland or are we in Atlanta? And that is such a humbling feeling. And I can only imagine for these players, to come out and see more orange or more red in this iteration with the Chiefs coming in. Man, it's going to be a long season of that. And that can it can demean a team. And that's something that every week these players are going to have to try to get over, because there are going to be very few instances where they come out and the opposing team is muffled by our screaming Bird Gang fans. It really is, like I said, it's humbling.
Yeah, at the same time, I mean, it's nothing new here in Arizona. It's nothing new. I mean, I covering the Diamondbacks. I'm coming to the stadium, and more than half the stadium is the other team. Right?
The other time we had Dodger series last week.
The Dodger series, man, you'd be surprised if teams that come in there with other Seattle Mariners came in there and filled the thing up. I'm like, whoa. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing new here. It's nothing new.
Interesting. Is it a big deal or not? So came across, and I got Ed is the one that brought this to my attention, because somebody reached out to him that put it on his radar. Player fines. So JG, so Coach Gannon is quoted as saying that he's has these different fines. So if your phone goes off or whatever the case may be, player fines, and I want to find the exact fine as I do this.
15,000 for a phone going off.
15,000.
15,000.
5,000
for
big deal or no deal. Big deal or no. It seems a little bit excessive to me. I don't care, especially if I'm the 98%, so I'm not making millions and millions of dollars, and my phone just happens to go off, and and I got to pay that big of a fine. It seems to be a little excessive, but big deal or no deal. We'll start with you first, Ed.
I got fined $750 one time for not signing the sheet for dinner one night. That was a big deal to me. I mean, $750. Yeah. Now I can imagine 5,000, 15,000. I mean, and that's man. I'm okay. Everybody has their limit of what because I do know one of my best friends in the world. He got fined for weight every week, and it would double. And he showed me the checks. He showed me what they were taking out of his check over the course of the season, and it was in the $10,000 and $15,000 range and stuff like that. And he was like, and I'm like, holy, So to every man has his limit. Like I said, $750 was hurt my feelings. I can't imagine with these fines. And the thing is, you almost have to ask, is that real? Or is that just, that seems a little excessive to me.
Yeah.
So is that really real? If it's really real, I wouldn't even bring my phone to the facility.
For real.
Because just in case I
That's
forgot, seriously, my phone would be in the at the house or in the truck. I'm not bringing that thing inside. And the other one, as far as being late and stuff like that, if you're late, that's on you. I mean, but if these fines are real, they're excessive, but I guarantee you they get these guys' attention. So that's
right.
That's
the key.
And real quick, it would seem to be the being late thing would probably you'd want to find more than the phone, but I guess how our phones are connected to us and they're always with us and all that type of stuff. I guess I could see that being a little bit more, but I would think the being late, I want you on time. I want you early to this.
The phone is disrespectful, though. That's the thing. The phone is disrespectful.
And let's be real about this. Remember, we've been here before too. We've been here before when you have a new culture, a new regime coming in.
Yeah.
And the old one showed you what everybody's used to.
Yeah.
And when you've been there before, like I said, Jay, when you always talked about the corporate world, when you come in as a new supervisor, you have to instantly put down the law. If you don't put it down, we saw this with Cliff. You don't put it down, what you gonna be?
Yeah.
Now these fines and stuff might be excessive, but I think they're excessive because we're making a culture change. Once the culture gets where it's supposed to be and everybody's mindset is, oh, I'm not going to do that. And you want to see that translate to the field in that game again. 4 penalties. Yeah. 4 penalties for the Cardinals. This is the Cardinals we're talking about. Right. And so some of that stuff can start to reflect on the field. And that's what I think JG's trying to do is, hey, look, it's not going to be can't kick back and chill with the coach like it was the last 4 years.
Right.
I think it's a good thing for a team that's when you're making that culture change. We saw BA come in and do the exact same thing. He had your name on a list and what you did. the accountability chart.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think it's more of an accountability thing and get this team's focus right. I think that's what it's more focused to. But the fines and stuff, man, these dudes are rich. Come on, find them dudes more than that if you ask me. But
man,
hey.
Shoot. All right. So on behalf of the one and only Ed Easy Smith, I am Javon J. Love Adams. That is Kazual E. Earl Burnett. Go to KSR, support KSR Rating. So KazualSportz.com, KazualSportz.com. And so make sure you tell a friend about what we have going on here. Go ahead, Easy. What you
Remember, Brother Earl is joining me on the show this week too.
Yeah,
sitting in on the Easy Sports Talk show.
You keep talking about being Wally Pitt. Don't let Wally Pitt me. Don't let Earl Wally Pitt me. I try to get into your house and the locks will have been changed. So make sure you check us out. The Easy Sports Talk show 1 to 3 Eastern. Go to Sports Map Radio. sportsmapradio.com. You can listen on from the site, or you can download the app for your Apple or Android device. But so this has been Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals, and as we always like to say around this time, you can
see you later, Bird Gang.